Hello and welcome to Our Time.
You got in so fast I never had a chance. So hello. Tell me,
Test.
this is our 215th episode, and we missed your 200th episode.
15 episodes ago.
No, because you started in episode 9.
Yes, I did.
So we're 4 over the mark.
Well, yes, but who's counting?
A month. Well, at your age, I would. Now, on today's program, we have some fascinating people once again. I'm actually going to talk a little bit more about computer technology, because I'm an expert, about people who contact you saying you've won a sweepstake and those crazy scams that can happen.
Right.
Not to frighten you. We also have a band on today's show.
We do.
And they're me and my mates. And what's great about this group is they do all those lovely old Australian songs that we're losing from our musical knowledge. Now, who are you talking to?
I'm talking to you at the moment.
No, we're going to talk to Phillip.
But Philip's here again.
A
Hello,
regular.
Philip.
Hi.
We're talking
You
travel.
both will? We are.
Are you regular?
I'm very. And
pleased to hear that.
I'm very pleased to say the baked beans work.
Wonderful. But you travel a lot. Is
I
it hard
do.
to be regular if you're travelling?
Well,
That could be another episode.
I think that's another program.
Yes.
And
Well, no, because we're talking about things that bother people who are older.
Well,
or
staying healthy is
healthy.
one. But what I wanted to say first up is the things we talk about today will be enough to terrify everyone, and no one will leave their front door.
Oh, good, because they keep watching us.
So what I'm saying is don't allow that to happen.
No.
And concentrate on just being aware of the sorts of things when you're away from your own home.
So we're really today talking about being safe when you travel.
Travelling.
Safe and healthy.
But, you know, it's the same with, and we're talking a bit later about computer technology, and the same thing there. You just don't not use it because it's the most wonderful tool.
Awareness and confidence.
Exactly. Be aware, that's all.
So when
and
you
travel is a great way to be.
And when you're planning a trip, which is half the fun, as they often say, think about it, and when you can make good use of a government website, smarttraveller.gov.au. With that website, you can look at destinations if you have any concerns about issues that may be occurring there at the time of your travel. You can register your own itinerary and your contact details. So if necessary, and there is a problem within an area, people can find a more effective way of getting in touch with you. But most importantly, don't forget to give your friends or rellies an itinerary with contact details. Very important. Don't be afraid to actually contact them from time.
Yes.
When you're away.
Well, they want to know if you're okay, and just a simple text or a message back to them.
Or a Facebook picture.
Don't wait for a postcard, because they'll be back before the postcard arrives. But
the trouble is, though, if you do things like send Facebook pictures, people know you're away from the house.
That's another issue, and I'm not a fan of that. Instagrams and what have you, and say, here I am in Paris, go to my house and
rob
get
me
in
now.
there, take what you like.
Exactly.
And so that's another thing. But as I say, register and look for that travel advice. Anyone who leaves home without travel insurance is mad.
I couldn't agree with you more.
The old story is if you can't afford the travel insurance, you cannot afford to go away. And so even a short trip, my best piece of advice there is that when you make the decision to go on the holiday, make the decision to buy the travel insurance at the same time, because if anything happens to you leading up to the point of departure, you've actually got yourself covered. If there's a cancellation, or as we've seen recently with ash coming
Yes, exactly.
out of the
You're covered to
mountainsides.
get home
Yes.
without any extra cost.
And so that's not the fault of an airline or a travel agent or anyone else.
No.
That's a natural circumstance that you have no control over.
That's the earth being regular, I think.
But read your policy.
Yes.
People quite often will accept possibly an online, sounds simple, sign here, pay your money, done. Read the details to see what you're really covered for.
You can actually get travel insurance through your bank too, can't you?
There are a wide range,
Yes, there are.
But just read what that policy offers you.
I always just get it through my health fund.
Do you?
Yeah.
Well, there are different
So
ways.
it's just
Fine,
extending
lots of different ways of
And
doing
if you're away for more than, I think it's 3 months, they deduct, but it changes the way you pay.
Okay, if you're still working and you put your health fund in recess or on hold while you're away, just be very conscious of what your earnings are, because if your earnings fall below or above a certain level, you still become responsible for the Medicare levy. And so
there
I'm
you
just
go.
saying
Thank you, that's great
I'm very
advice.
much aware of it, particularly if you're away for more than about 11 weeks, I think it is. The same as there are various Centrelink requirements. If you're now, I think it's been extended to about 19 weeks you can be away. It used to be a lot shorter than that, but you put at risk losing benefits if you haven't told them what you're doing. And just so... The other thing is, don't be away for longer than 19 weeks and keep it going. But,
Can you imagine being away for that?
and so, yes, but as I say, stay in touch with family. When you are away, make healthy decisions as well. You're not being paranoid by using a gel or cream or what have you to wash your hands or clean them before you touch and eat food. It's still an age-old comment that's made, avoid the ice in drinks. If you're in countries where there's a risk factor with the quality of water, and think of a salad, it's been washed in water. Think of things that have been nicely cooked and, if not heavily, cooked.
I was in Egypt once and the boys were getting the plastic bottles from the rubbish bin, filling them up with water.
And selling.
Who knows where that came from? You know, washing them, and they're back on the street selling it.
But
Brilliant.
When you're just walking down the street, remember, whichever country you're in, they may be driving on the other side of the road, and your look to the left and look to the right is a great trap to step off the pavement and become part of it.
Yes.
And so, again, just slow down a little bit when you're travelling in that respect to walking around somewhere where there are different directions.
But also holding, a woman holding a handbag over the shoulder on the side where the traffic is, that I've heard of people, motorbikes coming along and just snatching from the shoulder.
They don't care if it breaks on the handle as long as they've got hold of the bag. And I think there are areas that become well known for risk of having your pockets picked. And there's a great one, I remember it happening to me in Florence, where a young girl with a very young brother attached was holding a piece of cardboard out towards me, and as I'm looking on here, she's asking for money, I've actually got her hand in my pocket, and I just grabbed her wrist at the same time, very fortunately, and asked her to let go of the money in my pocket. And that's the sort of thing that can happen if you're not aware. Think of looking the part too, because we all look terrible in the sense that we've got the rings on our fingers and we've got the fancy clothes and cameras hanging around our necks and what have you. Just think of how you are looked upon as a friendly suspect.
Well, if you want to look like a local, look like you do at home.
Yes.
And really, that's the only thing. Don't take your best jewellery. Don't wear your best clothing. Don't wear your fur coat or your whatever you pride and like to be seen parading up the streets of Paris or wherever. I
think another program again of what to wear and what to take away, because the ladies, the old black slacks and 10 tops is the way to go. I can tell you that. But again,
that's what I do.
Going back, suitcases, don't put your shoulder out, break your wrist or what have you. There are so many wonderful cases out there, a lot of them now with 4 wheels.
The 4 wheels,
a lot easier to manage. Just when you're trying them out, check the length of the handle. Some of them, the cheapies, tend to have a very short handle, and it just sometimes is not as convenient. Just try it out in the store you're looking at it.
But the weight of some of these suitcases these days is as light as a feather.
Well, that's the key. But it's so easy to fill those up with 25 plus kilos.
It's the content you've got to worry about.
And you've got a real problem.
The other, in a sense of keeping yourself safe, is take photocopies of your passport, of your credit cards, of your travel plans, of any travel vouchers you've got, and have one set that you might have with your documents and another one in another item that's not with you during the day, for example. It's back in the hotel room. Make sure your friends at home have got a copy of the itinerary. And they're just things I hope you never need, but can
also use the safe in your hotel room.
Don't be frightened. Don't do what someone I know did once and left the hotel with the goodies still in the safe.
Okay. How did you... you put your airline tickets in there.
I left the passport. I left everything in there.
Oh, did you?
So I have to confess this one. And
you just sailed off.
I was quite happy to disappear, but I was saved by the fact that I had a friend who was staying on for a few days after us and gave her the combination. She got all the bits and pieces and then addressed it to where I was going to be able to collect it. Everyone was very concerned I was so casual and comfortable about it, the mail working. I was in Japan at the time. But there it was, waiting for me, and I got to get on the plane and come home.
So yeah, that is one to remember.
Oh yes.
I'm actually
You
afraid.
always, yes, check. It's, you know, have you touched or are you holding your passport today as you're getting on the coach to go off on a tour to another part of your holiday destination? Or
Should
wherever.
you carry your passport with you at all times, or should you lock it up when you're in a hotel?
Take the advice of the reception counter of where you're staying, because some parts of the world having your passport with you is an important thing for proof of identity if you're asked. But as a generalisation, put it in the safe until you need it, because most hotels will want to see it and record the details.
Of course, yes. Yeah. It's also proof of your age if you're going to some places, because they'll give you an age discount if you...
Good one. That's my next point.
Oh,
yes. This
Phillip?
is a setup, I'm sure. But if you've got a seniors card, you've got a pension card or what have you, it can vary from one country to another what age they will give you a discount. But you can get discounts on transport, rail in particular, through Europe.
Yes.
You can get discounts on entry to various galleries or attractions.
Yeah.
Never be afraid to ask. And that happens here within Australia.
Phillip,
it's all good stuff to know.
Yes, thank you so much.
As always.
Lots of good information.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Happy travelling.
And thank you. And we'll be back very soon with some great Australian music and some information about how to look after yourself on the computer.
Welcome back.
It's welcome back. Hey, Janice, do you know many Australian songs, real Australian songs, like from the very beginning?
Waltzing Matilda?
Well, that's one, yes. Any more?
Not that I can think of right now.
You know, there's a track winding back.
Yes.
To where?
Okay.
To where?
The Road to Gundagai.
That's the one. And we have the perfect group. This is Chris John. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you, Malcolm. Thank you, Jim.
He has a show called Me and My Mates, and we have the two mates, Ezra, who's there. That's Ezra. That's Ezra. Wave again, Ezra. And Lockie. Over here. Chris, you started the group off originally, didn't you?
Yeah, well...
You've done a diverse range of things in your life.
I have, that's right.
But always to do with...
Yeah, since I was in my mid-20s, probably, to do with theatre and music and that sort of thing.
And where did this idea come from?
Well, we did a show it was over 5 years ago for the Adelaide Fringe called And Their Ghosts May Be Heard, which I did with a couple of other blokes, but we got the same costume. And that evolved.
That's a costume? I thought you just come in. From milking the cows.
True.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, one of them, Elliot, it was Nick and Elliot at that stage. So Elliot and I continued on. We dropped the name And Their Ghosts May Be Heard because it was a bit of a mouthful, and that was more of a play, if you like. And we turned it into Me and Me Mate, and we started doing shows at pubs and old folks' homes and wherever anyone would have us. So then that evolved because Elliot got sick of me after a while, and then I got
Lockie. New mates.
Yeah, that's right. Lockie and Pete came along, and they worked with them. Lockie's been with us for about 3 years, and then we started getting invited to festivals. So we've done some folk festivals, country music festivals, arts festivals, and travelling interstate and all around the countryside.
I absolutely love your show because it's the music we don't hear anymore.
Yeah.
It's rich and it's culturally Australian.
That's right.
And it's all about the places in Australia.
Yep.
And it's interesting that you're Australian.
Yep.
But your folks are from...
The Philippines, yeah.
Okay.
So both of them from
So
the
is this
Philippines.
music odd for you?
No, I heard some of the stuff when I was a kid at school, but not a lot on radio or anything like that. So it was really good to see this part of Australian culture and learn and be a part of it and share it as well.
Yeah,
So,
because Australians come in all shapes and sizes.
That's right, yeah.
And Lockie, for you, was this an introduction of new music for you? Because you're a recording engineer as well, aren't you?
Yeah, a little bit. It's been cool for me to sort of find the influences in the modern stuff that I work with and stuff that I write now, and find the same chord progressions or musical phrases in these old traditional style songs as well.
Wow.
So yeah.
Things don't really change that much when you think about it.
No. Well, a lot of the folk music evolves from the same roots. Like American folk music probably came from the Scottish and Irish as well as the Australian. But we also do some more contemporary stuff now.
Yes.
It evolves, so we do a couple of, we write some of our original songs in that sort of style.
Yeah.
But we do some Slim Dusty songs and the Dingoes and stuff like that.
But there's a really nice sort of laconic edge to the whole show. It feels like it's just rambling along, and you take the audience along with you.
Yeah,
You've got to see
good fun.
I know, I will. I'd love to see the show.
You're doing a...
We're doing one at the Star Theatre in October the 25th.
Come along.
Part of the
Come along.
Cabaret
Come
Under the
along,
Star.
everyone.
That's it. That's
festival.
right. Yeah.
And if you actually haven't had a chance to see these guys perform, you're going to shortly, but if you haven't had a chance, if you do see them coming to your town or your city, please go along and capture a little bit of an essence of what we really were, because I think you really do that so well.
Yeah, I think Australians tend to undervalue their own culture in a way, and other people from other cultural backgrounds put more value on it. But I think we've got, our own humour, our own language, and it's worth keeping it alive and passing it on.
Ezra, you came from, you graduated from AC Arts here at the university here in South Australia. Did you know through uni any of this stuff at all?
Not this stuff, no.
Do you think it's valuable for people to learn this part of our history as well as the Shakespeare and all of the other influences?
Yeah, very much so, especially the bush poetry that we do, the poetry that... I think it gets overlooked, and we always look back to like Shakespeare and that, but we have a lot of beautiful Australian poems as well, and they're definitely worth sharing and treasuring. You
can hear a pin drop when you're doing some of these, because the words so clearly define what Australia used to be. The people, the different sort of range in sort of socio-economical areas. It's a bit deep.
Yeah, very deep.
It is. No, but do you find... Do you have large audiences that come to see you?
We vary. We've had, our smallest audience was about 4, I think, one day, but our largest is about 900.
Wow.
So we did a show actually not that long ago at Tanunda with the Marinanga Brass Band, and it's in the Tanunda show hall, which is vast, and there's 900 people there.
Yeah.
So they've got TV screens and all that sort of thing. So that's pretty fun.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's great. So it does work.
We know more about the American sort of, slap your knee.
Well, we're going to go to Tamworth. A lot of people, as we tour around, especially in the country, they said, "Oh, have you been to Tamworth?" And so we've bitten the bullet. We're going to go next year, in January. Yeah,
and fantastic.
We're working with Ted Egan. Do you know Ted? He's a bit of a legend from the Northern Territory, and we're doing a share. So it's going to be me and my mates with Ted Egan for a couple of shows in Tamworth. Yeah, so that'll be good.
It'll be interesting to see just how this develops with time, because you've just set up this lovely little sort of historical moment for people that we really should enjoy.
Yeah. It'd be nice to have them back after they've been to Tamworth to hear all about it.
Sure, that'd be great.
Get them to come back.
A lot of people, we've had a few like backpackers and visitors, or even international students come to the show, and they've come up to us afterwards and said, "Wow, we didn't really understand everything, but we enjoyed the atmosphere, and they loved the songs and that." And I think this is actually a bit of a educational thing going on there too, because a lot of, especially international students, they know how to speak English and read English by the book and academically, but
this is our
a lot
Australian
of
history.
The language, but the language and that the more colloquial language, which we use a lot.
That.
Yeah,
they appreciate that. I think. And it's
Like
good to show them that we've got that cultural heritage as well, I think.
Humping your bluey. Have you done that?
Yeah.
No? Well, it's
a bit like Waltzing Matilda, that's
exactly.
right.
I said you knew Waltzing Matilda.
Oh, I'm big you bluey.
Yes.
Okay.
And you don't want to talk about what you shoved in your tucker bag. The boys are going to be back in a minute. But Janice, we're going to talk in a sec about just things that can happen online, where you get those funny messages to say that you've won £1 million and you don't know what to do about it, but you've got to send them money to get yours back. Don't go there.
Don't go there.
But we'll talk about that in a minute. And then the boys from Me and My Mates will be back to show you just what sort of songs they do and how they sound. gaming and playing pokies and those sorts of things have often come in to a lot of criticism, particularly for people who are retired and often lose all of their money because they do things that perhaps we shouldn't do. Mark McBriarty is here, who's the Managing Director of Home Instead Senior Care, and we've been talking in the past few weeks about the internet and how things can happen through the internet. Talk to us about this problem that some people have.
Look, this is more to do with some of the emails you get from lotteries claiming that you're the winner.
Oh, that, yes.
That kind of...
yes.
And quite often what you'll find with those organisations is that they require you to pay some upfront taxes before that money can be released. I think it's really important to emphasise for new internet users that there isn't an email address that I'm aware of that's ever won a lottery. Yet quite often people, again, they work on the 1 out of 10,000 people that will respond and put their hard-earned money across normally to Nigeria, never to be seen again.
Yep. Can also be you've been left all this money in the will, but you have to pay somebody to organise it somewhere else. I remember getting one of those saying you're the last person in your family, and I know that I'm not. And it's an interesting how greed can take over in a case like that, thinking, oh, well, maybe they don't know about the other ones. Maybe I've got a windfall here. The truth is, if it's too good to be true.
I know we keep coming back to the same point, Malcolm, but there are so many groomers out there that are looking to prey on people that would love to have won the lottery, and if this is as close as they get, they'll have a try at it.
And usually plan to give it all away to their kids.
Often with that's our biggest challenge for seniors is spend it on yourselves. The kids will be fine.
Yes, exactly. You manage by yourself. Now, again, we're not trying to frighten you from using your computer. This is a really important thing. Email and being able to surf the internet is a brilliant, brilliant thing that's come into our age group. We weren't born with it, but it just opens the world up. And we don't want to close the world down to people when they've just discovered this new tool.
Couldn't agree more.
The point is, though, if it, just like a letterbox, if you were unsure of hard copy mail that came through your letterbox and you chuck that in the bin, it's that sort of attitude, isn't it?
Absolutely. If it looks too good to be true, that's what the delete button's for.
Exactly. Mark, thanks. Come back and tell us some more another time.
Shall do.
So here I am with me and me mates, Lockie, Ezra and Chris.
So is it you and your mates now?
Me and me mates.
Hey, I can't wait to hear the song. What are you singing, guys?
We're going to sing Wobbly Boot.
Oh,
Yeah.
is this original?
Wobbly boot?
No, this is a bit of a slim number.
Okay. Take it
Okay,
away.
yes.
Me and my mates.
When I was a lad, I remember my dad coming home late Friday night. Mum would be there and she'd give him the glare 'cause he'd be high as a kite. He'd say,
Sorry I'm late, I had a couple with me mates, then we started to sing a few songs. And the next thing you know was time to go and I had the wobbly boot on.
now me uncle's the same, he was never to blame when he came over to our house. He'd light up the barbie, rip the top off a stubby and sit there quiet as a mouse. But later that evening, when he was leaving, even though he was wearing thongs, he'd say to me,
I'm a bit shaky, think I got my wobbly boot on.
oh, it's a curse, there ain't nothing worse, makes you feel like a big galoot. When you're standing there, full of cheer and something goes wrong with your boot. You feel like a fool, you try to be cool, but you know it's no use. So you blame it on your wobbly, wobbly, you blame it on your wobbly boot. Your wobbly, wobbly boot. Well, that was years ago, and now I know all about these worldly things. How you gotta have some good times in your lifetime, have your little flings. But early in the morning, when you start yawning and you're not feeling too strong, you're wishing over and over that you could stay sober and you didn't have your wobbly boot on. Oh, it's a curse, there ain't nothing worse, makes you feel like a big galoot. When you're standing there, full of cheer and something goes wrong with your boot. You feel like a fool, you try to be cool, but you know it's no use. So you blame it on your wobbly, wobbly, you blame it on your wobbly boot. Your wobbly, wobbly boot.
You know, Ez, it's a dirty job, but someone should look into this little matter.
That's right.
It seems to me that cobblers must be using wobbly leather. It's a flaming disgrace to the Aussie race and it's gone on far too long. They should make them stronger, make them last longer.
Then we wouldn't have our wobbly boots on. Oh, it's a curse, there ain't nothing worse, makes you feel like a big galoot. When you're standing there, full of cheer, and something goes wrong with your boot. You feel like a fool, you try to be cool, but you know it's no use. So you blame it on your wobbly, wobbly, you blame it on your wobbly boot. Your wobbly, wobbly boot. You blame it on your wobbly boot. Your wobbly, wobbly boot.
Fabulous instruments. I was hoping you'd be playing it. I've got myself all tangled up. I'm perfectly fine. Guys, that was great. And that was a Slim Dusty song?
That's right, yep.
Janice, it's time for us to go.
It is,
sadly.
unfortunately.
And I wanted to sing a song with you. We just have to do it without. Are you ready? What are we going to do together?
Yeah.
We'll see you
Well,
next
no,
time
we'll join
on
in.
OurTime, everyone. Keep yourself nice till then.
Charlie Watts?
He ought to be an admiral, a song to the king. And to his praises we shall always sing. Look what he has done for us, he's filled us up with cheer. God bless Charlie Watts, the man who invented beer.